G'day folks, Jason in the Udder Farm. The topic of discussion today is blady grass. On the Udder Farm, we probably had two massive areas of blady grass when I first bought this property. Now, 4 years on, I reckon they're reduced by at least 50%. There is faster ways of reducing it, but I'll go into that when I start talking about it. So I reduced the blady grass amount I had by the use of two tools. I'll talk about those tools now. One being this, the slasher. And the second tool is right behind me, livestock. In my case, the cattle. So here's one of those areas of blady grass. About there was 100% blady grass right round. I've left this here to show you. Blady grass there, and it was right across to the edge of that creek there, that fence line where that blady grass still is. So that was dense blady grass. If you come and have a look now, because I've slashed it, I probably slash it twice a year. So it's not reducing it fast, but it reduces 50% in probably the 4 years. So there is grass amongst it. There's dead road grass. As you can see, it's very sparse now, the blady grass, which is the green stuff. And the road grass, which has dropped the seed heads and died, is the brown stuff here. So like I said, now it's starting to become 50, this area through here is probably 50-50. Gets a bit thicker over here. It's predominantly road grass, but up through there, you can see it's starting to get back to road grass again. And that's 100% blady grass through here, like I just mentioned. So it definitely works, guys. Slashing it helps control the blady grass. See, firstly, the thing you got to know is cows will not eat blady grass when it's fully mature in this state. You've got to slash it down so it's small, and they'll eat the fresh clippings as it comes up. It's fresh, it's higher in energy. I will rephrase my last statement. People are going to jump all over me if I don't. The cattle will touch the blady grass when it's fully mature, when there's nothing else left to eat. Desperate measures, desperate times, they will come back and nibble at it. But if they've got other pasture to eat, which is more palatable, they won't be going for the blady grass. And if you have a close look, guys, I'll come back to this bad area. Have a look how thick it is. That's why no other plant can compete with it. It's thicker, there's more blady grass here, and it's thicker than hairs on a dog's back. The sun cannot penetrate through that foliage, being so thick. So if you had natural seeds on the ground, native seed bank, or if you were to throw seed in there, it couldn't compete. It's too thick. The sunlight cannot get through to propagate those seeds, or to give the sunlight those seeds need to germinate. Or if there is native plants there or seed stock, to germinate those native seed stock. There are other ways of controlling it that I'll go into now, but I definitely do not use this method. I'm a regenerative farmer, so the method I've seen used multiple times, a lot of people do it, is they recommend glyphosate. As we all know, glyphosate is definitely not good for the human system, and it's definitely not good for the microbiology in the ground. The glyphosate, if you spray it on blady grass, yeah, it'll kill your blady grass, but it's also going to have a detrimental effect on all the microbiology in the soil. You'll have no soil life. You'll be destroying your soil life. Not only that, glyphosate is a broad spectrum poison. It's not specific. It will kill every single weed that's on the ground. Then all of a sudden you got this area of dead grass, dead ground, bare dirt. The sun's going to dry it out, and Mother Nature, all that she wants to do is cover herself. The first thing she's going to throw up is weeds. I've seen it over and over again. People spraying glyphosate, you know, it's not a selective, it's broad, kills everything. The first thing they come up is weeds. This is a regenerative way. You're still keeping a living plant on the ground to feed the microbiology, to catch that solar collector, to get the carbon and the sunlight, carbon dioxide, to feed the microbes. Even though it's blady grass, it's still capturing carbon and sunlight to feed microbes. All you're doing is slashing it off and grazing the animals. It'll grow, but blady grass does not like being cut, does not like being walked on, does not like being chewed. Absolutely grotesques it. And if you keep on top of it, you'll kill it out. So the first tool in our repertoire today is going to be the slasher. We're going to run over it and slash it first. So now that we've finished slashing the blady grass area, what you do now is bring in your livestock. I'd bring in your livestock, but they're actually cell grazing down by the creek, so they're not due back in for a couple of days. So that's prime now. You probably want a little bit shorter. This is 300 mil. I've got the slasher set on. If it's a couple of 100 mil, even better. The lower to the ground it is, you just don't want to go too low, and then you've got no matter on the ground whatsoever, because the sun will get in and penetrate and dry your dirt out. So go a bit more, you know, a couple of hundred, say 6 inches, 8 inches high. Like I said, mine's about a foot. 8 inches is probably good. That way you're still leaving a bit of matter on the ground, a bit of ground cover, the sun can't penetrate, and when it shoots off, the cows will get to it. So that's probably it, guys. There are other methods people have used and recommend. Because I've only got sporadic areas on the property, I use this method, but there are other methods. If you had a vast paddock and predominantly 90% of your paddock was blady grass, there are avenues of cultivating and disc plough. But because I've only got small areas here, I'm definitely not going down that track, because that's not a regenerative way either. The moment you turn that soil, you're exposing all the microbiology to the sun. They're going to die. The mycorrhizal fungi and all the glue that bonds the soil together, all the worms that, you know, do their job, making it aerate in the soil, all those glues and that biology and that world below the soil, you just disrupted and turned it upside down. It's basically like a mini tornado or a cyclone's come through and just destroyed it. All those years of those glues and those tunnels the worms have made to filter through the water are now exposed. And the moment you disc it, plough it, run over it, you think you're aerating the soil. You're not. You're actually destroying it. You're making it loose, and it'll actually won't hold moisture. The sun will then dry that soil out. But if you've got a paddock full of blady grass and there's nothing you can do, you've got no other option but to cultivate and reseed. But like I said, mine's only sporadic, so this is the regenerative way for me. I don't have to disc. I'm still keeping that plant in the ground, feeding the microbes and feeding the cattle. They come through at a lower height and they will chew it out. Like I said, I could speed up the process had I do it 4 or 5 times a year once it gets a height, but I'm happy to slowly reduce it twice a year to have it done, because I haven't got much. But if you had a lot of it, as soon as it comes up to a specific height, a foot, foot and a half, slash it. Foot and a half, slash it, and you'll get on top of it faster than I have. Righto guys, on that note, have a great morning, a terrific afternoon, and an excellent evening guys, wherever you're watching this from, and we'll catch you later.